Hi guys, and welcome to another short Blender tip. And in this tutorial we're going to be covering the Blender Bevel modifier. So here's our standard primitive object here. Cube could be any object that you're working on, and if we were to go to the modifiers and add modifier Bevel, you'll see that what this does now is it bevels all of our edges. Now you can choose how many segments you want. So by increasing that segment count, you can get a curved bevel. So that's how you could create a radius on the corners here. But we want to go for a bevel, so we'll just stick to one segment, or we could up it to 2 segments to make a nice bevel on the edge there. Now let's say that we don't actually want every one of these edges to be beveled. Well, there's various different limit methods. So you could choose angle, for example. Angle, though, won't be much use to us here, because basically what this says is that everything underneath a certain angle will be beveled. So if we were to increase this to, say, anything over 90 degrees, and we lose the bevel on all of the edges. But if you had a different object, say which had some edges were less than 90 degrees, for example, then you could bevel only the edges that are less than 90 degrees. But that doesn't apply in our case here, so we'll just leave that as it is, and we're going to go to our limit method, weight. Now, what we can do in edit mode is select specific edges. So let's say if I select edge select these 3 edges here, then we'll go to mesh, and we'll go to edges and edge bevel weight. Now when we increase this, you'll see that our bevel modifier then begins to be applied. Now depending on, you can see down here in the lower left corner the bevel weight reading. So if we're to make this 0.1, you'll see that we only get a very small bevel. If we were to make the bevel weight 1, you'll see that we get the maximum amount of bevel. So if we were to make it 0.5, we get about half the amount of bevel. So depending on the weight that we assign to certain edges depends on the amount of bevel we'll get. So if we were to then select, let's say, this edge here, and we were to do the same, edges, edge bevel weight, and we'll make this one 1, you'll see that we actually get now a different amount of bevel on each edge. So edge bevel weight, we'll make this one 0.7. Come back out now into object mode, and we should be able to see that we have a greater bevel on this here because it has the maximum bevel weight, which is 1, and these other edges here have a smaller amount of bevel. So by going around and selecting specific edges, the edges which are not selected at all, we added no bevel weight to those, you can see have no bevel on them. So that is how you can bevel edges in your object and choose specific edges that you want to bevel and leave out other edges. Now, another way that you can do this, let's say if this was to be applied, here in edit mode, if I select an edge and I just hit Control B to bevel, you can actually bevel these individual edges, like so. So I can bevel that as much as I want it to be beveled, and then we can increase the number of segments if we want it to be curved. You can change the profile so it can curve inwards or outwards depending on the direction you want the bevel to go. So let's curve that inwards like so, and there we go. Come back out into object mode, you can see that now we have a reverse curved bevel on the back side there. So that's the quick overview of the bevel tool, so the bevel modifier and also the bevel tool where you can bevel individual edges there. You can repeat this again. Obviously you could select this edge, Control B to bevel, and you can choose your bevel profile, number of segments, and so on. So thanks for tuning in. I hope you found this tip useful. Please hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel so you can keep up to date with all the latest tutorials and videos for Blender and Final Cut Pro.